All right, well, I'm going to start the tutorial for the team that's working on the Fontenelle Supply Co. video. First of all, you will start with 2 hard drives plugged into your computer. One of them is the shared hard drive. It's called VFTV. You'll have to grab that from the equipment checkout room so that you can download your footage. And the other hard drive is just your hard drive. Mine happens to be called KC2025-2A, et cetera, et cetera. You will move files from this hard drive onto this hard drive. So open up the Viewfinder TV hard drive, and you're looking in the Travel Des Moines folder. And this was Elise, Isabella, Meadow, and Will's project. So if I look in there, that's their 5-folder setup. I've already set that up for them. That's there. Then open up your own hard drive. And you probably have a different file folder set up and everything than I do. This is just how I organize my files. And I've got a folder here for all the travel show stuff that the students do. I've already gone ahead and done this, but what you'll do is just simply drag and drop from here to there, from the shared hard drive onto your own hard drive, so that you have the complete 5-folder setup, which is audio, exports, graphics, media, and projects. 3 of these folders will be empty. Exports, graphics, and projects won't have anything in them. Media, I've split into camera A, camera B, and camera C. You can see all these camera work that you did there. And then the audio has the VOSAT that Meadow recorded. That's kind of giving you the structure for your video. It also has the transcript, which is a Word document, and the VOSAT the Word document that we worked on, and all of these other audio files here. So since we have all of that, we are ready to begin the process of editing. We'll need to open up a Premiere project. If you don't have Premiere down here in the dock, simply go to your magnifying glass, start typing in Premiere, and then you'll open up Adobe Premiere. We'll get this booted up. Thank you to Annika White and Carl Knight Clam Studios for that cool art. All right, we'll start a new project. Just click on New Project. Go ahead and please call this Travel Show, or I think we called it Travel Des Moines, your name. And then in location, you got to click this drop down, choose location, and we want this. If you see a small window like this where you don't have a lot of options for where it's going to go, press this little arrow here. That'll give you more options. We need that because we're saving it onto our hard drive. You can find your hard drive over here and into the projects folder. Click select. We're going to skip import mode. We don't need that, and just click create. All right, now it's opened up a basic Premiere project. If yours looks different than mine, you can go to Window, choose Workspaces, and choose Editing. That's the workspace that I'm in. And then there's lots of different tabs for everything. You know, the top left tab, the one I want is for it to be Source. In the top right tab, I want it to be Program. Bottom right, I want it to be Timeline. And bottom left, I want it to be the Project tab. So there might be other tabs open. I want it to be the Project tab. If you ever lose a tab, you can always go to Window and find, for example, if the source one was missing, I could find the source one here, Source Monitor, Program Monitor, et cetera, et cetera. Now let's start adding some files to this Premiere project. I'll go to my Finder, blue face guy. I'll go to my hard drive. Again, sorry for my weird way I have to go through this. I will go into Travel Show, find these, and I'm just going to add the audio. Click, drag, and click. It might give you an error saying, hey, there are a couple things we couldn't import. That's those Word documents. Premiere can't do anything with those. Everything else should be fine. And then instead of this icon mode, I'm going to change this to list mode so I can see those files. It's just a lot easier to do it that way. Also, I'm going to import my media. Bloop. And that's in. Now, before I drag and drop anything over, I'm going to go ahead and make my sequence from scratch. Go to File, New, Sequence. And then go to Settings. We're going to do a custom sequence. It's going to be 23976. That's the same frame rate that you filmed most of your video in. You filmed most of your video in 4K, but we're going to make a sequence that is full HD, 1920 by 1080. We could ignore the rest of the stuff down here, and then down here at sequence name, we're going to call this, if you want to call it the name of the place or whatever, just make sure it has your name. I will call it Travel Des Moines, my name, and then this is important, underscore cut 1. This is going to be your first cut. You're going to make a sequence just for this first cut, and then when you make your second cut, you'll make another sequence for that second cut. Click OK. And now I've got a sequence. It's an empty sequence. There's nothing in it. I might as well, over here in this project tab, I might as well make a new folder for my sequences. Right click, new bin, sequences, and I'm just going to drop this guy, which is a sequence, into there. Lovely. Now I've got a sequence. It's empty. There's nothing in it. And the first thing that's going to go in it is not going to be video. It's going to be my VSOT, my VOSOT right here, which is what Meadow recorded. It sounds like this.
According to the EPA, Americans throw away more than 11 million tons of textiles every year.
So it's just a basic structure for this video. We came up with this structure when we met as a class and decided, like, what is the general narrative that we have from this video? I'm going to click it and drag it over here. Now, the reason it's so small is because when I made my sequence, I forgot to tell it a length for the sequence. It just automatically set it to like 10 minutes. Don't worry, when we export, it's not going to have all this empty space over here. It will only export as much as there is, as far as we go, as long as the video is. And the length of the video is really dictated by the length of the VOSOT that we have. But I'm going to zoom in. I can use my zoom rockers here to zoom in. I can also simply just press the backslash key on my keyboard. It's on the far right of your keyboard, right under the delete key. I can do that, and that will also zoom me in. I want to see these waveforms a little bit larger, so I'm going to move my mouse in between these two tracks, click and drag to pull that down so I can see those waveforms a little bit larger. Then I simply zoom in, and I'm going to start by just cutting out this little bit of empty space right at the very beginning. I'm going to move my playhead right over that, choose the cut tool. You can also just use the letter C to turn your cursor into this cool razor blade looking thing, and just cut right there. Then I'm going to click on my selection tool again, or you can just type the letter V on your keyboard. C, V, C, V. Pretty cool. I can click on this one here and delete it. And then to get rid of this empty space, I could, click and drag and move it all over. I can also just right click in the empty space, ripple delete, and it will just move everything over. You'll use that really frequently. I'm going to hit save just because I'm paranoid. And we're going to go ahead and listen through the first part of the VOSOT, which sounds like this.
According to the EPA, Americans throw away more than 11 million tons of textiles every year. In the Des Moines East Village, one store is fighting back, helping you make your leather goods last longer.
Okay, that's the first part of our VOSOT. I can cut right there. I want to try to cut as close as I can to the end of what Meadow says without cutting her off at all. I'm going to cut right there. And then I can move my other cut tool right about to here. This is the beginning of the second thing that Meadow will say, but I don't need it right now. So I'm just going to cut out this empty space, maybe move this over to the side a little bit. The first thing that we hear, according to the structure, this is kind of a structure that we sort of developed in class, which I'll open up right here. This is sort of the structure that we went with. We started with Meadow, giving her her opening VOSOT. That's what you just heard. Then we have Meadow's stand-up. That's the next thing that our viewers will see. So because we know her stand-up is next, I'm going to move this over, and let's find where that stand-up is. It's in media somewhere. I'm not sure which one it is. Is it in camera A, camera B, camera C? Now this list mode is really nice. This list mode that I have is really nice, but it's hard for previews. If I double-click on one of these folders, it opens it up in its own little tab. So if I want to go back, there's all of my stuff. That's my project panel. And these are my tabs. I'm going to actually open up each of these in their own tabs. Camera A, camera B, camera C. So I can see them really easily. And then for these bins, and only for these bins, I'm going to switch to icon mode. Icon mode allows me to see a little preview of the video, and I can even kind of scrub over and sort of see generally what it looks like. Do that for this one too. Put this in icon mode so I can see my footage. And of course, if I want a bigger preview of the footage, I just double click on it and it will show it to me up here in what's called the source panel. But I'm just taking a look here, and it looks like I found my stand-ups, but let's see, were they in camera C as well? No, okay, so my stand-ups were in B. I just need to take a look at them, and I need to decide which stand-up was the right one. Looks like they did 3 goes of it, so let's listen.
Hello, I'm Meadow Losi. We're outside of Fontenelle Supply Co. on Fontenelle. Here they make leather goods, menswear, and I'm guessing that you can get to your loved ones. Today we are going to meet the people behind this shop and see how the craftsmen make these products. Let's go.
All right. You can pick which one you like. I'm not going to go too much into it. I'm just going to pick the first one. I don't know if it's the best one or not, but I'm going to pick the first one. And before, I'm not just going to just drag and drop it in here. I'm not going to do that. because I know the audio on this is not good because you were recording audio off camera. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to right click on this guy and I'm going to choose new sequence from clip. I'm going to make a new sequence just for this clip. Now the name of the sequence is just the same as the name of the clip, which kind of sucks. So I'm going to go back to my project panel and let's see, it probably saved it into this camera B folder. Yeah, that's right there. You can tell it's a sequence because it is a different color. I'm going to right click and choose rename. I'm just going to call this stand up. And then, just for good measure, I'm going to go ahead and drag this up and save it into that sequences folder. Good. So I have my stand up sequence and my Travel Des Moines Cut 1 sequence, my 2 sequences. Now for this one, I need to go ahead and synchronize my audio. So let's find my audio. And I'm just going to assume it's the first one. Well, let's see here.
Other guys.
No, this is the interview. So let's say it's this one.
Hello, I'm Meadow.
Okay, we're just going to assume it's this one. And I'm just going to click and drag it over here. I don't know, it might not be because it's a different length, but let's see. Maybe you did it a couple times. I'm just going to take a guess and maybe it's this one. We'll see. We'll see if it's right. I can actually just listen to them both, can't I?
Hello, I'm Meadow.
Does it sound the same here?
Hello, I'm Meadow. We're outside of Fontenelle Supply Co. in Des Moines, Iowa. We're going to meet the people behind this shop and see how...
Okay, good. It's just longer because there was it kept rolling after she was done. All right, I can click and drag over both. Right click, and I'm just going to synchronize. I'm going to synchronize by audio, so I'm not going to do it by these things, but by audio. Click OK, and boom, it did it. It synchronized them. You just couldn't see it because they were already happened to be very close. I can zoom in here. I'm going to go back to my cut tool with the letter C, cut out that part, cut out this part, use the letter V to cut out these bits here. Then I don't need this crappy audio anymore. So to make it go away, I can click on my blue clip here and I can just do Command L, or I can right click and choose Unlink. And that means that these two are separate now, and I can just delete the other one. And then I want to connect these two. I want these to be married. So I hover over them. Again, I can do Command L to link them, or I can just choose Link. And now they move together. They're together as if they were filmed together.
Supply Co. in Des Moines, Iowa. Here they make leather goods, menswear, and have gifts that you can give to your loved ones.
Okay, it sounds good. Now what I can do is I can take just what I want from this and I'm going to paste it into my main sequence. So that's what I'll do. I'm just going to cut out exactly what I need. I don't need this little empty dead space at the beginning. So I'll cut that there.
Hello, I'm Meadow. We're outside of Fontenelle Supply Co. in Des Moines, Iowa.
We go through the whole thing.
Let's go.
We do that, and that's where I'll cut. I'll just say that's all that I need. Now I can take this and simply Command C to copy it. Go over to my Travel Des Moines one. Move my playhead over here. Again, I'm just moving this over to the side just so we don't get any interference. Command V, and it's in there. And if I want to pull this up, I can. And now we have opening
In the Des
VOSOT.
Moines East Village, one store is fighting back, helping you make your leather goods last longer.
Hello, I'm Meadow.
Oh, and why does it look so different? Why is it so much larger in here? I think you know the answer. It's because my sequence is a 4K sequence. Is a full HD sequence, but this footage is 4K footage. So to make it so Meadow fits more nicely in the frame, I can just click on my clip, then go to Effect Controls, find Scale, and I can scale this all the way down to 50%, and it will still fit in the frame. Now, if I go lower than that, of course, I'll get black bars. I don't have to go, I can go more than 50%. As long as you're not going over 100%, you're going to look fine. I'm going to go ahead and just ramp that down to 50%. Maybe I'll do it a little bit larger so I can sort of make her not quite so center-centery. And that is good to go. And I'm not worried about this footage being too bright. We're going to worry about color correction later. But we have our opening VOSOT and our opening stand-up now. And we haven't talked about what the viewers are going to see during this opening VOSOT, right? We haven't talked about that yet. Obviously, they're not just going to see a black screen. So what are they going to see next? Well, this is where I can go into my camera bins, A, B, and C, and I can decide what is it that I want the viewers to see first when they're watching this. I probably want them to see some sort of establisher Probably like an exterior establisher like this might be useful. One of these maybe, these nice little cut-ins here, especially when you say Fontenelle Supply Co. I like little exteriors where a car drives past. I think that's nice. And she's talking about clothes and waste and things like that, so maybe I want to find some interior establishers that also show me there are a lot of clothes in this shop. Something like that. This is the team sitting at the couch. That's fun. So I will let you kind of be creative with what shots you want to use, but something that shows you, not this footage of like shampoo and stuff, because that's not really relevant to clothes. Maybe a shot of, yeah, sure, a rack full of clothes or something like that. And I could look into my camera, see and decide what's going to help me kind of illustrate what she's saying. We have a nice little tilt right here, something here. We have some leather goods. You get the idea. Here's what you can do. I mean, you want to kind of pick, footage that sort of goes along with what Meadow is saying, and is sort of also kind of paced with what she's saying. So I'm just going to like say it out loud while I'm playing it for you to get an idea of what I mean. Clip
According
1.
to the EPA, Americans
Clip
throw away
2.
more than 11 million tons of textiles every year.
Clip 3.
In the Des Moines East Village, one store
Clip
is fighting
4.
back, helping you make your leather
Clip
goods
5 maybe.
last longer.
Hello.
So that's like a few different clips that I'm showing, and I'm not showing the clips for more than like a couple seconds each. And I'm trying to like visually situate my viewer in this space. This is a nice establisher that I might use in here. Now, I'm only going to use clips for like 1 or 2 seconds at a time, and if you were being good, you filmed B-roll clips longer than that. So for example, this one is like a 10-second long clip. If I'm going to use this, I might say I don't really need the tilt. Well, let's see. Let's see. I'm looking for an establisher that might work well. Maybe this is an establisher. That's a fun little clip there. I'm just looking for something that just is about the clothes. Maybe I'll just use this wallet clip here. Okay. So let's say, people throw away their goods. I have some leather goods here. I don't know if this is the most relevant clip or not, but I know I don't need the whole thing because the whole clip is like 15 seconds long. If I only want a part of it, because again, I might have like, this is 9 seconds and I might have 5 clips in there. I'm just going to choose one section of this clip here. The way I can choose a section of it is with in and out. It's just a key that you can hit on your keyboard. You can choose the point, that you want to start from. Let's say I want to start from here. I can right click and do mark in, or I can just use the letter I on my keyboard. What I'm telling Premiere is I don't need all this stuff. I just want from here forward. Then I can move forward a couple seconds and then do O for out. Then I can move this over into my sequence. Make sure you don't move it over the VOSOT, that audio, because it will cut that out. So you can just set it over this way, and then I can pull this down if I want to.
According to the EPA, Americans throw away more than 11
Maybe after she says 11 million tons, that's when I move to maybe something else that I feel like illustrates that well. And again, I just don't have a lot of time to like go through the entire thing. This is the creative work that you can do. Something that illustrates these EPA stats that Meadow is talking about. Maybe it's this one here. I'm just going to I and ow like a couple seconds of that. And this is where you can get creative, kind of deciding like what are the best clips to throw in here that kind of go with Meadow's pacing.
Tons of textiles every year. In the Des Moines East Village.
Right, like she has a pause here, so that seems like it's a good place to cut from one clip to another one. Now I'm really just gonna pick them randomly, but I'm gonna make sure that I have like a wide establisher-y looking shot in here, something that gives me an overall sense of the space. Maybe it's this one. I don't know if that's the best one or not, but I'm just gonna pick it just so I have something to go with it. Ooh, this is a very short clip. This might be too short for me to use. Maybe I could use it. And let's just do one more of the deer head, the moose head, whatever this is. Just because those are cool. Yes, cool movement. Let's throw that in there and just make that fit. Again, this is where you get to be creative and do it how you want to do it. Now again, I hope you noticed that I can see the whole clip in the source panel, but I don't get to see the whole thing in the program panel because the clip is in 4K, but my sequence, which is what I see up here, is 1080. So to change these to fit exactly the size that I want, I can just, again, click on one, go to Effect Controls, go to scale, scale it to 50. Now, if I want to do a lot of clips really quickly and scale them all to 50, I can just simply Command C on the one that I just did, the one that I just changed to 50, then highlight these other ones, and then right click and paste attributes. And the attribute that I want to paste is just the motion attribute. The motion is what includes its scale. You can click on that, and now it scales all of those back. Now the sound on these is not good. I'm just going to mute the sound on the B-roll for now. It's kind of interfering. I will unmute that later on, but when we do the sound mixing for the second cut, we'll worry about that. Okay, so we've got our opener, Meadow talking about waste and things like that. Then we have our stand-up. Then the next thing we have, according to our document, was we have Adam saying, we like the idea that you can keep repairing products and enjoy them longer than you would traditional pieces. So we need to go. It's time for our interview. I know that this is the interview. Camera A is the interview. And I am told that you also did the interview on perhaps camera C. It's in here somewhere. Up here. So you did a multi-camera interview. And you also had audio from that interview. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to make, you guessed it, a new sequence. So I'm actually going to go ahead and make a new folder in here. I'm going to call this one interview. This will make my life a little bit easier. Then I'm going to go to my, this one here. It's 002. I'm going to find it in here in my camera A. I'm going to move this into that interview folder. I'm going to find the other clip. It was from camera C. It was called 8322. Okay. And I'm going to move it from this camera C folder into that interview folder. So I have my two clips, right? Yeah, that's him talking. That's also him talking. Lovely. And then I'm going to take my audio from that interview, which I believe is this one.
We met in college.
Yep. And I'm going to move that into that interview folder. I'm going to do the same thing I did for my multi-camera interview. I'm going to click on the audio first. Then I'm going to hold the Command key on my keyboard and click on the other two. Doesn't matter what order you do it in. I will right-click, and I'm going to make a new multi-camera source sequence. I can call it Interview with Adam, perhaps. It's going to synchronize by audio. I uncheck this if that's checked. Move the source clips into process clips. You don't need that. Everything else you can keep how it is. Click OK. It's going to synchronize those. It has made a new fancy little sequence right here, but it's just a source sequence. I need to make this a sequence again, and you right-click, new sequence from clip. This one I can go ahead and drop into my sequences folder. And here it is here, Interview with Adam. It's got the right audio, sounds great. I don't have any of the crappy audio, but I only see one camera angle right now. To get it so I can see more than the other camera angles, I need to go up here, and if I click on this guy, it says Toggle Multi-Camera View, then I will see both camera angles. But you might not have this by default. To get this, click on this little plus sign. You should find it in this button editor. It's this one here, Toggle Multi-Camera View. You just click and drag and drop it down there. Okay, multi-camera view, I've got it. And there we go, it looks okay. Now I just realized after I did this, I should have probably made sequences for each of my two clips here. Okay, I'm gonna make a note in the video. All right. Yeah, we're going to do this again. Doo-ba-doo. All right, so I've added these three, or I'm just going to, that's where I need to pick this up. All right, so I've added these three things. Now, I told you there's going to be a lot of sequences here. I need to actually make both of these their own sequence. So I'm going to right-click, new sequence from clip. I've made a sequence now that is called the same thing as my 4K camera clipping thing here. This sequence I'm going to right-click and rename to camera A. or maybe like interview camera A. I'll do the same thing with this camera B one right here. Right click, new sequence from clip. Again, the sequence, the one that has the cool like bars and graphs here. Gonna right click on it, rename it, and call it interview camera B. Okay. I need to actually do something with these two sequences that I made. Because my main sequence is 1080, but because you recorded your interview in 4K, I need to take this interview camera A sequence, go to sequence settings, and I'm going to change this into a 1920 by 1080 sequence. It's going to give me a warning, and that's fine. It made the video look kind of weird, right? Because now I have a, in 1920, this looks probably different than what you were looking at, but just ignore that for a second. Okay. Now I have, he looks larger in here. I can go to Effect Controls. Once I've clicked on this, Effect Controls, go to Scale. Again, scale that down to 50. Boom. I do the same thing with Interview Camera B, with this sequence right here that I just made. Click on it. I'm going to go to Sequence Settings. Again, make this a 1920 by 1080 sequence. Then I'll click on the video itself, go to Effect Controls, scale it down to 50%. All right. So back to my interview folder, my beautiful interview folder here that I made. I have three things in it that I care about right now. My audio, camera A, camera B, sequence. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a multi-camera source sequence. We're making so many sequences. I'm going to hold the Command key. Then I will click on the audio. Whoops. Click on the audio, hold the Command key, then click on A and B. The order matters. You've got to hold the Command key first for the audio one. So click the audio, then camera A, then camera B, then right click. Then I'm going to do Create Multi-Camera Source Sequence. I'm going to call this Interview Multicam. I'm going to use audio to synchronize it. I don't need it to move the source clip, so you can uncheck that. Everything else is fine. Click OK. Awesome. It's made an interview multicam thing here. It's called a source sequence. That's why the icon looks a little bit different. I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to New Sequence from Clip. All right, and this is my interview multicam. Here's what it looks like. Now you see that I only see one camera angle right now. To get multiple camera angles, you kind of saw a preview for it earlier. I can click on this thing, toggle multi-camera view. That will show me both my camera angles. If you don't see that, click on the plus sign right here. It's one of these extra buttons. There's a whole bunch of them. It's this one right here that looks like hopscotch. Click and drag it right onto here, and that is my multi-camera view. Okay, I don't really need the multi-camera view right now, so I'm just going to ignore that. And I'm going to take this interview multicam, and only this, I'm just going to drop this into my sequences folder. Okay. So, and I can close these. So I just have these three sequences ready to go. My next thing I need to do is go back to my main sequence, and I'm going to find, where does he say this thing here? We like the idea that you can keep preparing products and enjoy them longer than you would traditional pieces. Now, I don't have time to hunt down that clip, but if I did, I could find where he says that. And I'm not actually doing it right here, so you're going to have to play with, roll with me a little bit. I use the cut tool, cut out the bit where he says that. Let's pretend it's right there is where he said it. Then just click on that, Command C to copy it, go back to my main sequence here, move my playhead around here or so. Oops, it's too long. It covered up my other audio, so I need to move that over. Maybe let's pretend it was only this long. Then I can drop that right in here. And now after Meadow says, let's go, he says what he has to say, because that was the next thing we had, right? We like the idea that you can keep repairing products. And then we move on to the next thing. So we have a structure here, right? Adam says that line there. Then we have Meadow saying that's Adam blank of the Fontenelle Supply Co., which opened in 2016. Let's find the part where Meadow says that.
That's Adam Tweedy, the co-owner of Fontenelle Supply Co., which opened in 2016.
Okay, that's the next thing she said. So I can just cut just that much and pull that over onto here. Now, while Meadow is saying that, you can probably guess the kind of B-roll that we might need to see is Adam doing other things besides the interview. Maybe we have some B-roll in one of our bins here of Adam helping a customer or working on something, and you can probably fit a couple clips, 2 or 3 clips in this amount of space, right? Your viewers only want to be seeing a clip for really 2 to 6 seconds, unless there's a reason, unless there's some sort of movement happening that needs to make it longer. Again, so I'm just choosing my clips from here, choosing the ones that work, using my in and out, dragging them down into here. After Meadow says this, we have another clip of Adam saying something. He says, I love the whole sort of life cycle of the product, that sort of thing. Here's what I do. I simply go over to my interview multicam. I find the place where he says that, the life cycle of the product line. I simply cut that part out, Command C to copy it, paste it into here, and have him talking. Now, one thing that you do not have to do is whenever he's talking, we don't need to see him the whole time, especially if he's saying something long. We don't always need to see his face. You can, while he's in the middle of saying this, we can throw in the deer head or whatever. You can throw in some footage over the top of what he's saying, right? Totally fine to do that. Oof, sorry, it's a very short clip. You can throw in some clips over, while he's talking. That's fine. So just keep that in mind. We don't need to see his face the whole time he's talking, every time he's talking, right? We'll switch back and forth between different camera angles, but just keep that in mind. We want to see B-roll. The viewers who are watching this, they love him, but they also want to see the space as a whole. So don't feel like you have to always show his face the whole time, while he's talking. We can show B-roll on top of what he says. Okay, I'm not going to go through the entire structure because this is your structure. This is the video editing. You actually did the most important video editing on paper here, and we just kind of figured out what's Meadow going to say, what's Adam going to say, and going back and forth between those things. We have this video ending with Adam saying this line. It's a heritage product. Very cool. So once you've done all that, once you've kind of built the structure, you do not need to do any color correcting. You don't need to choose between the different camera angles if you don't want to. Although for your interview, if you want to do that, you can. There might be places where you kind of need to for it to work structurally. So if you are going to do that, to switch camera angles, you simply go into multi-camera view while your playhead is over his interview. If you want to switch the camera angle right here, you would click on C to cut this clip, and then V, select the one to the right, and then just select the other camera angle, and then it's going to cut from that to that, right? And that can be really useful if you need to cut out, if he has a really long or in the middle of what he's saying, you can cut that out and without it looking like a jump cut. So keep that in mind as well as you're editing. But you're putting all those things together. You're putting the B-roll together. We're not worried about graphics or color correction or sound mixing or any of that right now. Just getting the structure. Once you've got the structure, you are ready to export. To export, just click on Export up here. It will be called Travel Show Your Name Cut 1, because that's the name of your sequence. Make sure this is what you're exporting, not one of these, right? So whatever you have highlighted is the thing you're exporting. I like to just Command A to highlight the whole thing too. Export. Choose to save it into your folder on your hard drive, into the Exports folder. You'll call it Cut 1, hit Save, and then you'll hit Export. Now, I can't export while I am doing a screen recording, so I can't actually do that for you right now. But you'll export, and it will export an MP4, just an MP4 file. Here's what you do next to turn it in. You'll go to My GVU, and you will go into your Blackboard, go to Course, find Video Production Lab, and just simply find our shared files, which is down here in the fall 2025. I have made a folder for this. It is called Travel Show First Cuts. This is the one you need. You can save it in exports. Looks like one student has already done theirs. Simply go to your exports folder. Again, I don't have an export because I can't export while I'm doing a screen capture. But find your export and just click and drag it onto here. So that file, whatever that is. So let's pretend that this is my export, this one right here. Just click and drag and drop it into here, and then wait for it to completely finish uploading before you X out of this screen. You'll see a little progress window. So just make sure you don't click away while it's still uploading, because then I won't get to see it. Then to actually turn in the assignment, go to Blackboard, find the assignment. It's in week 13. Travel show first cut. Actually, make sure to leave and quit Premiere first. So I'm just going to close Premiere. I'm done with it. I'm going to hit File, Save, and also close it. Then what you'll turn in to Blackboard, because you need to turn in something to Blackboard for me to have something to grade, is just go to Upload Files, browse local files, and the file that you will upload is your Premiere project. That won't take a long time to upload because it's a small file. Click on that, and that is the thing that you turn into Blackboard. So Premiere project is what you turn into Blackboard, and your export is what you turn into this shared files. Then over Thanksgiving break, I'll take a look at it, and we will talk about your next steps, which is the color correction and polish and all that stuff. But once you're done with this, congratulations, you finished the first cut of your project. Well done.